back to my grossly underappreciated channel. Just kidding, no, but seriously, it's pretty good. And today we're going to be doing a review and some recommendations on the film Spectre, starring Daniel Craig, directed by Sam Mendes. What an outstanding pile of shit that this film turned out to be. Basically, this film was as bad as The Hobbit, The Battle for Five Armies, or whatever it was called. I felt like this film just kind of ran around reminding us of the success of the previous films within this franchise. I actually like the Bond franchise. I do. I like it. I've even gone as far in the past as to defend this particular franchise. But no more. No more. If I felt as though this film was worth 11 points out of 100, I would have given it 11 points out of 100. If I felt as though it had justifiably earned 4 points out of 100, I would have given it 4 out of 100. But this particular film did not warrant me scoring it one single point. Not 1 point did this film earn. This film just fucking jerked me off for 2.5 hours. Nothing happened. Not a fucking thing. Spectre starred Daniel Craig, who I do really like, which makes my first recommendation 2004 layer cake. Basically, Daniel Craig plays a drug dealer who's made his fair share of money, and even though there's a lot of cash up for grabs, he's done. He just wants to get out of the game safely. He just wants to make an exit strategy, an exit plan, and get out of the drug game. The film's got a Guy Ritchie feel to it, so if you like Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, or Snatch, or Rock and Roller, you'll probably enjoy this film. You know, it's got a multiplicity of characters, and the plot kind of bounces around a little bit, but it ties itself together nicely. Next, I want to recommend Blue is the Warmest Color, starring Léa Seydoux, who starred alongside Daniel Craig in Spectre. Blue is the Warmest Color is about a teenage girl of whom is not only discovering life and the world and herself, but also her sexuality, which it does play a large keynote on. But as you watch the film, it becomes an emotional journey that you can't help but find yourself involved in, you can't help but in some way or another relate to. I should warn you guys, as great of a film as Blue is the Warmest Color is, and as highly as I recommend it, its runtime does stretch over 3 hours, and there are some pretty lengthy sex scenes within the film, just to give you a heads up. This film was directed by Sam Mendes, surprisingly, because Sam Mendes is actually a terrific director. He's only got a short list of films of which that he's directed because I feel as though he's been careful and meticulous when choosing his films. But he somehow got roped into this fucking mess, Spectre. But nonetheless, there's still some great films of his for me to recommend for you guys. The first one of which is going to be Jarhead, which stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Peter Sarsgaard, and Jamie Foxx. The film follows a battalion of Marines of which that are deployed just outside of Iraq in the Middle East, and they're just told to continuously hydrate and continuously be ready. And as far as they're concerned, they're surviving in a desert that's far too hot, fighting against an enemy that they can't quite see, to win a war of which they don't fully understand. And Jarhead is kind of in its own kind of boisterous, masculine kind of way. It's kind of hilarious. Yeah. For my final directorial recommendation, I'm going to go with Sam Mendes' best work and one of my favorite films of all time, the comedy drama American Beauty. American Beauty is really about that day-to-day life of which we've all been assigned certain mundane tasks and dull responsibilities and so forth, and we're all playing our part in this society until something, somewhere, just snaps. The film stars Kevin Spacey and too many other people to mention. The soundtrack is hypnotic. The writing is that of genius. The cinematography is fantastic. The character's development and evolution is absolutely believable. The actors' performances are sublime. Everything about this film just kind of lined up to make this beautiful, beautiful piece of cinema. I'm looking for some adventure action thrillers, the first one of which that I've come up with is Leon, the Professional. The film stars Jean Reno as a hitman and Gary Oldman as a police officer. Gary Oldman actually being the villain. If you like his performances and you like him as an actor and you haven't seen the film Leon the Professional, you may want to check it out. Perhaps one of the scariest villains, to me at least, of all time. This film gave Natalie Portman her start. She's only 12 years old during the film, but delivered a fantastic performance. Okay guys, last but certainly not least, Headhunters, a Norwegian film. It's an action-adventure thriller starring Axel Hennie. This film is about an art thief who ambitiously is trying to maintain his colossal mortgage and additionally continuously flatter his gorgeous, sexy, artistic wife. and he finds himself a little low on cash funds, and this leads him to attempting a heist of which will make him so much money that he will then be able to retire. I hope you guys find time to check out whichever recommendation appealed to you guys the most. Peace.
Good evening, 007.
I mean, I was sitting there, in the audience, watching the fucking thing, and I'm thinking, what's Bond up to? Is he cross with me or something?